That's progress for you. Let's see here. I'm gonna see if I can share this. So it's a long YouTube that Mike sent along here.
Hmm.
The Radian Raptor 61 millimeter destroyed. He's
What?
comparing it to some other.
Oh, radian bumped and deconstructed.
Let's see, I'll skip across here. Oops. Back here, what's he looking at here? What are those things? Charging handle. What is a charging handle? Not sure.
I have no idea. OPT?
Huh.
Oh, he's saying there's a common company making these small telescopes.
Oh.
I don't know.
And putting expensive labels on them?
Maybe. Yeah,
See, it always
so
pays to make your own telescopes.
That's them that's the Chinese conquering the world. Is that what that is?
holy smokes. How about the frog?
Oh my. Wow.
Let's see, kind of see if you can hear this. Can you hear the YouTube going on right now?
No, I can't hear anything except your
Barely.
voice.
I'm going to see if I can see it. Mike is joining in. Hey, Mike, you sent this video.
Hi, Mike.
It's
Mike-
it's an hour long, okay, but it's an eye opener. It's how can I put it? You don't always get what you pay for. Like you get something good, but you don't necessarily get the best of the best. Okay, this guy goes through a long analysis of this product line. Basically, what it boils down to, this telescope is no different than other brands of telescope, other than it's got a color, it's missing a few parts, and you get a $20 gift certificate to help buy the visual back that's not included with this telescope, and a few other things, but you have to go through it. He goes through an incredible lengths to show what it's basically, it's the same Chinese manufacturing about 5 different brands of telescope. They are all the same. The one thing that these guys claim is 275 millimeters of focal length. All the other ones are 274.
Hmm.
Is that a triple?
It's a triplet with a fill flattener.
Okay.
You have to see the whole thing. Okay.
Oh, okay, so it's kind of like a pit school. Yeah.
No, well, no, it's more like a relatively nice refractor telescope that's sold for much less.
Mm-hmm.
So you said it had color?
Yeah. This is 2 of the brands. There's the other brand that it's Star Shoot or something here. Let me go a second here. I took a picture of it.
A triplet that has color? That's a very bad design or execution.
Well, let me try and find the name of it. I took a picture of it.
You want to share it, Mike?
Sharp Star. Okay, this is almost identical to the Sharp Star. And then he goes on to say that for $3, you get You can go on Amazon, Alibaba, and get this green laser pointer on Amazon. It's about $12. They sell it for about 30 or so.
Huh.
Okay, so this part here, they're talking about the fact that they don't offer the handle to put your auto guider on there. And in their videos, they're saying everything you need to get going. Okay, and the other thing is, I spent 6 months designing this telescope, and then he points to the rotator screw being the focuser tightener, you know. So you got to see the whole thing. It's agonizing, but you have to see the whole story. So basically, he says it does a pretty good job, but for $500 less, you can get the Sharp Star. It does the same thing as the other one. I mean, when you throw in all the things that you need to purchase to use it, I mean, it's a decent telescope, but it's not. They try to make it out like it's something a cut above the rest. Okay, and it's manufactured by the same company. As a matter of fact, he shows the brochure where you can tick off the boxes, so to speak, with what color you want it, what things you want included with the telescope, you know. And you know, one of the features they really tout are caps on both ends of the telescope. That comes with the telescope.
I got a question, Mike.
Yes.
Actually, this is, I'm raising my hand that at our planning meeting, we decided that if you want to say something, that we need to raise our hand before we jump in and say something. So
okay,
let's see if we can do that. And Dick, is your email at the one at dickbeam@charter.net? Is that
That's
yours?
it. Mhm.
Okay, because you had, didn't you have another one that had Lori name on it?
Well, Lori might have, I think it would have her name on it, but it might be the same email
Okay.
address. It's the same email address that's going to the same place. We only have one computer with email capability because we're doing that for security reasons.
Yeah, I have your email address as Lori, and I've sent you things like that, and that seems to work. So
yeah, that's fine. Lori or Dick, either one.
now, if we're going to do the hand raising stuff, Tom, for this meeting, you're the presider, so you pick.
Oh, okay.
I only did it at that meeting because I'm the president, but I'm not president here.
Well, you should be. I'm just kind of moderating things. I think actually, Jerry,
That's
it would be
it.
better.
You're the moderator.
No, Jerry, I'd like it if you'd be the moderator because I'm busy kind of clicking on different things. So if you can be the moderator, I'd appreciate it.
Well, you know, in a small group like this, I think we can manage.
Yeah, we could probably dismiss it for this group, I would think. Yeah. You know what I don't? I'm sorry. Excuse me.
I just wanted to forward this email to Dick that had the link to this YouTube's from Mike.
Oh yeah.
And maybe Bruce. Can't think of anybody else at the moment. Okay, I'm just going to forward this thing.
The only thing I don't like about these is the rear focusing. I'd rather have it front focusing like the Red Cat, but you know, that might not be as big a problem with some of these other cameras. If if you have a small format camera that's mirrorless, it might not be as big an issue.
All right, well, that's good. I'll stop sharing that.
Okay, Mike, what is it?
Okay, I did some more work on the interferometry from last week.
Yeah.
And there was actually indications that my mirror was much better than it was.
Much better.
Yeah, Stroll ratio. I think depended upon the interferogram, up to about 8. Okay. What I'm working on is getting a reliable, run after run to get the same thing within a certain amount of percentage. So
yeah,
one of the things that I needed to do that you'll need to get is polarizer that helps you. It'll affect certain. It'll affect the what they call the background part as opposed to the part with the mirror is. You'll notice it. You'll notice that there's a big wide circular with fringes coming back at you, which is not the image you're looking at. You're looking at the smaller circular part where the mirror is. And so to enhance it, because the laser's polarized, your beam splitter does a little bit of polarization. You put a polarizer in front of your camera and it helps with it. And he shows on the video to do that. So that's something important to remember before you start out. I haven't been able to do much of anything else because my mom got in the hospital and I wound up all last week going down and seeing her. Yeah.
Well, I hope she's okay.
She's there now, but at 97 and she's not that, she was in really great condition. Now she's not so great condition. And all of a sudden she's going blind because of macular degeneration. So it's a situation where I think a lot of us have had with our parents where all of a sudden they're not functioning well enough to be left alone, or with certain people that take care of them that are not able to take care of them. For example, a son, how do after an accident, going to the bathroom, how do you handle that type of thing? So we're facing that type of thing. And as a matter of fact, we're going back down this Saturday to help fix things.
Okay. Where is she?
Canoga Park.
Canoga Park?
Yeah. Yeah. West end of the valley.
Yeah.
So last weekend, I wound up replacing the garage door opener because my brother wasn't able to fix things. And I noticed that the dryer in the garage was venting to the inside. And the reason was that people who installed it put a big kink in it. The whole thing was filled up full of lint. So, I had to go fix that. And so right now I've got a heat pack on my back. and I have a hard time. Hey, Dick, we're part of
old people that are going downhill, I guess.
Welcome to the club, huh?
Not just the knees lately. Now it's the back. But you should say something about the club. At my club meeting last night, we had one or two new people, and it's kind of interesting that a lot of people who start into the hobby now are getting the Celestrons 4 1/4-inch telescopes, and so they're trying to figure out how to use them. What's wrong with my telescope, especially if they fiddle with the collimation, they can't get it collimated. And I was going over that.
You're the perfect guy.
I think, because I'm, so anyways, when you get down to it, when trying to advise somebody that wants to spend a lot of money but doesn't have too much, I think they're a pretty good performer. I mean, for what you get. You start being able to see dark sky stuff, be able to see planets. I remember as a kid that my best buddy had a 4 1/4-inch optical Craftsman.
Yeah. So that was yeah.
Okay.
I just want to clarify that was a 4-inch reflectors you're talking about.
Reflector, 4 1/4-4.5-inch reflector. Yes.
And what is it, about an F10?
His was F10, and we got really great views of Mars at opposition when we were kids.
Those are good on are good on the planets.
Yeah. The thing now is most of these are like F6 or F8. So there's, when you think about it, there's more criticality as far as alignment, and that's where a club comes in to show them, how to adjust it, because they do get out of adjustment. And
well, the first two steps to that scope is one, pointed at the stars, not at the floor. And the second one, you remember to move the lens cap. And after that, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. So
Tom,
Hey, Mike, do you know what brand those things were that they had?
Celestron.
Celestron,
They were Celestron.
most of them, I don't know if Meade sells 4.25-inch
I don't think so.
telescopes. I don't even think anybody else sells 4.25-inch telescopes for the
Well,
most
did
part.
they buy them at a big box, or they buy them from somewhere else?
No, this one, and it might be more than just a Celestron. He bought it from, this is kind of funny. Usually you think of men being the ones when the baby comes that they have to start getting rid of stuff to make room for the baby. In this case, it was the wife that was really into astronomy with a lot of telescopes that had to get rid of stuff for the baby. So anyways, so he sold it. It was used. I haven't seen the telescope, but I know he's used it. I know that he's of the type that he'll go camping with it and use it. So that's the type for perfect type of person about that. So, but you know, when you get down to 4.25-inch, it gets you pretty far down. You know, you start seeing fuzz balls instead of just barely there, like with the M13 and the Orion Nebula, and it's big enough that you can start seeing the belts of Jupiter and the rings and the possibility. I don't know if you can see Cassini's division with that type of telescope, but definitely it starts to get dangerous, so to speak, as far as being able to see in the sky. And one of the things I went on with the meeting was I chose a constellation, and I chose Perseus for the reason that it had a lot of open clusters and it had a lot of double stars. You know, most people don't think of Perseus being that interesting of a constellation. Yeah, it's got the, you know, the double cluster, but all the main stars, most of them are double stars. And looking at, you know, my favorite book here, you know, this here, you know, there's like close to 100 double stars that go anywhere from like 0.5 arc seconds all the way up to 110 arc seconds. So it really is a good constellation for somebody learning about double stars and, you know, sort of like going to the next step and the next step, and knowing that you're going to get to a certain point where you're not going to be able to see it just because. And so that's what I talked about, and then I talked about alignment and other things about it. Speaking of books,
Sure. What about Turn Left at Orion?
Oh, I've seen that.
no, well, this is what I tend to use. Okay, but you know, most of the other guides don't really talk about double stars that much. 149. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, let me tell you. Okay.
Oh wow. Shoot.
Okay. Let me tell you. There's been a major price reduction on certain books. Remember this one that I told you about?
Yeah.
That the scalpers, I mean, the wonderful used book vendors were selling.
Yeah.
For like about $300 or $400.
I'll be right back.
You'll Google it now. It's now down to 76 because somebody figured out, these
Sell
might
my
be
copy.
available for list price. Okay, this book still is relatively inexpensive, but it's gone down a couple $100. It's no longer $830. But I am so happy that is happening because I consider books to be the best reference to get started in astronomy, because you can open it up, put slips of paper in, and well, at least for me, of a certain age, it's better to read off a book than it is to read off a screen, especially at night under the stars. So thank God that the William Bell was taken under wing. Now, I don't know if the AIP for Windows book is available now, but I do know that they had some available and that they were ramping up, trying to figure out the vendors, who's going to print what, and to be one of the things I did find out, because I do get some magazines that are in the industry. I still get this. It's a technical rag for RF engineers. And one of the things they say in here, you'll notice that the magazine is a little bit thinner. That's because we can't get our materials and can't get the printers to print as much as we would like. So that could be part of the reason why some of the books are more expensive. Cambridge, yeah. I don't have that. But,
Cambridge Double Star Atlas.
Yeah.
It looks backwards.
Yeah, I know. You have to go unclick it. And I have this book. Okay. This vendor is still printing because it's British. Okay. Observing and measuring double stars. What?
Well, I just said hello to Ed.
Oh, hi, Ed. Okay. This one's really great from the standpoint that it talks about the equipment used for measuring double stars, the various, and from
the old micrometer, microscope,
from a ring micrometer, which is very simple, to the filar micrometer, which
filar micrometer.
Yeah, right.
It's better just to take a picture of it.
Yeah. Oh well. But anyways, I got one other book too that I picked up on double stars, and I think that was from Sky and Telescope a long time ago. But it's so much better to have a book than to search on the web, because it doesn't always show it. For example, Perseus, okay, the constellation Perseus, dependent upon the star atlas, it's not going to show all those stars all the way around being as a double star. They don't necessarily mark them. You go to Stellarium and the others, you have to click on the star to find out if it's double or not.
Right.
Okay. And another thing too is I was having a hard time on Stellarium and Cartus de Seal, okay, to find Orion O, which is the variable star that goes from 7th magnitude, or is it 6th magnitude, to 13th magnitude. Okay, it's a long period variable. You couldn't find it there. They're not properly identified, and they're not necessarily there if they become too faint. That was one of the things. But this book, okay, does tell you, right? Because it's listed, it tells you, and they also have small finder
charts,
diagrams to show you exactly where it's at.
I've used this one for most of my stuff here.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite one.
I love it.
I've got that.
Yeah,
and I've got the smaller one.
Yeah,
mine looks like it can re-dredged of the ocean several times and dried out.
I'm not quite there yet, but I'll probably get there one of these days.
Yeah.
We were talking about Perseus, and let's see. I guess that's where the California Nebula is.
Yeah, or if you're from the Middle East, they prefer to call it the squid.
Oh, is that what that's what they would call it?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see. I'll bring that up here. Okay, here we go. That was what I did with the NP127.
Nice.
And yeah, it came out pretty good. I shot this with the 480 millimeter, and it came out pretty good, but this is a little bit better. I put it kind of diagonally, you know. I was going to go up here and see if I could see any artifacting. I had to get rid of the problems that I was having with the mirror interfering with the shot, but it's not too bad. I was checking out the corners here, but one of these corners, and it was on one of these sides here. This was the down part of where the scope was. So let's see if I can do this here. If I can show you how this goes. So the camera is
That's an Atlas mount, right?
yeah, Atlas Pro.
Okay.
And I had to put the camera kind of backwards, as you can see, and it's angled. See, because California Nebula is not north-south or northeast-west aligned. So I wanted to line it so I could get it the long axis of the center. Actually, I kind of went a little bit diagonally because I was a little paranoid that I wouldn't be able to get the whole thing. So as you can see by where this thing is going, it's going to hit that tripod leg. And that's where I quit right there.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think I can get another exposure in?
That's why I use a pier.
Yeah. Well, that's why where I'm going, because as you can see, the pier is right on the right hand and lower right hand corner. That's the base plate, and I'm getting an adapter plate for this mount here that is shown. And they're quoting out 8 weeks for that, but from Dan's pier plates, and that's a Dan's pier plate right there. And then of course when I get the AP 1100, I'll go ahead and order the adapter plate for that too. So he's got both those. So that's my little dog and pony show right there. I can only shoot for about, I'm going to say maybe 2 hours, if that, because it was so close. You know, of course, that leg was going to get in the way, and so I didn't get to shoot very much each night. So I had to kind of. I think it probably took me 3 or 4 nights to get it finished.
When you're operating with an AP 1100 and you have a pier, the AP 1100 will track 2 hours past meridian.
Oh yeah, I've heard.
Yeah,
I've heard that doggone thing does it. They're saying now in some of the documentation I've seen is the only limitation is whether you run into something.
Yeah,
it's really good for that. So I'm really looking forward to that. As a matter of fact, I just checked on that to see, because I'm on the notification to buy list, and which is a good way to go, because then they don't take your money until they're ready to produce the mount. See, but and then of course I got kind of a heart murmur when the gal said, "No, you're not on the list." But when you call those guys, this has happened to me twice, is that for some reason they have these lists and they're not looking at everything. And I don't know if these lists are on paper or what, but I can tell you this much right now, this has happened to me twice. And, you know, first when I found out about this mount, they were quoting 3 or 4 year lead times, you know, like it was a new thing, and they're just looking at wrong lists. So be prepared for that when you do work with these guys at Astrophysics, that it might happen to you.
Mike, go ahead.
Okay, one of the things that Mesu has done in the changing of their design is they've gone to a bent pier to alleviate the situation of going through the meridian. So you can go through the meridian without much problem at all.
Okay. Let me go back to Dick's comment about lists. I was on a list for a years-long list for an AP mount, and I called up OPT, and what happens, I found out, is that AP keeps a list. When you call up and you get it directly from them, they keep a list in order for your person. But these stores like OPT, they get on the list and they order like 5 or 6, or they guess at how many they're going to be able to sell in that time period. And so they are actually generating a flow down list, but they occupy a place on the list at AP as if it was a single person. And so if you go to one of these people like OPT I did, and you get on their list, they're pretty high up. And they may have several openings. So they let you cut basically in line. And so I cut years off of my waiting time for a mount.
Well, the downside of that is that I went on to OPT and I looked at those very same mounts.
Yeah.
And these guys want $2,000 or $3,000 more for their mounts on that list right now. At least when I looked up the AP 1100 on there, and I'm going like, well, shoot, if you're not going to give me as good a deal as I can get on the astrophysics site.
Well, that depends. That depends on when you signed up for the list. When you get on the list, you get on at the price they're offered at that time, I believe. So if you sign up now, it's a higher price no matter what.
But this was then.
Yeah.
This was then that I'm talking about when I decided, because that's what made me decide to go right with astrophysics, is that they said that, you know, that I was seeing these price differences, and I go, well, why should I pay that much more for it?
No, you got to go the best deal.
Yeah.
Mike?
Which is all the point, more the point that you should see that video that on the link that I gave you.
Okay.
Will do.
So I bought my AP 1600 for $11,000, and the same mount today is $13,000.
Wow.
And that was about 5 years ago. I bought it when it first came out.
Now, do
Jerry,
you have, I'm sorry.
Was that an AP11 mount, Jerry?
AP 1600.
That's a 220-pound payload mount.
Yeah.
So it's like double the payload of 1100.
Yeah, I'm going to put a chair on the mount and sit with my telescope to.
I think that might be pushing it a little bit, though.
So Jerry, you said it went from 11,000 5 years ago to 13,000 today?
Yes.
Okay.
So they are going up. Depends
Yeah.
when you buy it.
You know, they're not that much more though than 1100. So you take the top end price, and I think you're probably looking at maybe $4,000, $3,000 or $4,000 difference.
Yeah.
So it's not, you know, like it might even be less than that, because.
And I sold my 12,000 to get the 16,000. So I sold it for almost what I paid for the 1600. They have a high resale value. Let's put it that way.
You said it was
I
an
can
11,
imagine.
AP 1100?
Yes,
Well, Dick's is 1100.
that's what I want to get. Yeah.
I sold my
That's not-
1200 to get a 1600.
Oh, okay. Because the 1100 is on the internet for $19,390 from
You're
OPT.
looking at the OPT
That's-
site.
Yeah,
Right.
you're also looking at ones with the absolute, what is it?
Encoders.
Position encoders. I did not
Right.
get that option. I sit there with my scope and don't run it remotely.
Yeah, you know
Well, I
what?
really enjoy the absolute position encoders that are on my Orion Atlas Pro because you can just move them out. You don't have to worry about losing your alignment. It remembers what you did, and it's always there.
Yeah, assuming you
how
put
did
them
you
out
get
back
that?
in the same position.
No, you don't have. No, it knows that you moved them out. Whereas my Skyview Pro, it doesn't know you moved them out. It's you align it and it's figuring everything is locked in place.
Yeah.
There are encoders in both an azimuth and elevation on the Atlas Pro that
Cool.
tell the computer system that it moved, and it knows that. It knows how much it moved.
Okay.
So you don't lose your alignment.
Huh. I didn't know that, and mine doesn't seem to do that. Mine forgets everything. So did you get a special deal on that? Is there absolutely?
No, that's built in. The Atlas Pro EQ mount is the upgrade or the newer version of the Atlas Pro
Yeah.
mount.
The AP doesn't do that. It just has absolute encoding of the declination and right ascension. So it's meant for permanent mounts that are then run remotely. So, but when I go back and use it, I change things all the time. And so I need to rebalance the scope mechanically. So I need to let go of clutches. And so that completely erases where you were from an absolute encoder. you have to move the mount only with the drives then. And
Yeah, right. You can't use the mechanical azimuth and elevation controls.
right, so I can't, I need to balance the scope, and I need to have it like with no tension and let go of it and see which way it wants to drift to adjust the weights a little bit.
Hmm.
So it doesn't fit my style.
What are you planning on putting on that mount, that 220 pound payload mount?
I'm putting on an 18-inch f3.9 that I'm in the final stages of constructing.
Wow, that'll be
That's
something.
a rich accretion?
No, it's just a Newtonian.
Oh, really? Okay.
The 14.5-inch, I was never going to build an RC, but a 14.5-inch CDK, that one is about half built.
Well, what is the one you built that has hyperbolic surfaces in the mirrors? Our building, I should say.
None. The CDK has a undercorrected parabola and a spherical secondary.
Okay.
And the Newtonian that I have is a parabolic primary and a flat secondary. I did build a Cassegrain years ago, and that has a hyperbolic secondary.
Wow.
Let me rephrase that, decades ago. God, I'm talking about decades like they're years.
Well, as you get older, decades go pretty fast.
Everything goes pretty fast. Yes.
The use.
Oh, you can get encoders with a 1600 GTO
Yeah.
astrophysics.
Yeah.
$13,890 from
It's an
OPT.
option. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an option.
Yeah. And you were talking about the OPT 1100 for, or whatever, I think it was like 19,000. That's
Right.
the price that I got when I got on the notify list, was the price, that OPT price. And that's what made me say, no way, I'm going to astrophysics. So they promised me a mount, a buy this year, is what the promise.
Was that last year they promised this year, or was it this year?
No. That was the other mount that I had. I had the Skywatcher mount, and they pissed away on that time. And then they quoted me June of next year. And I says, no. And I was glad that I kind of turned that one down, because I think what I'm getting is going to be a much better mount.
Well, the Atlas Pro mount that I had to do some improvements to it. Basically, adding Teflon sleeves here and there so that I tightened it up.
Mm.
And I also put a Teflon bearing, a big sheet of Teflon between the top part of the mount and the pier, or the tripod on which it sits, so it could be turned easily even when it's tightened down.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Sounds like you super tuned it.
So
Yeah,
on
but I didn't all by myself.
On the RA, do you get, then you tighten that up so you don't get that much rock in the RA?
Oh, I was really pissed off because there is about 50 thousandths of an inch of slop between the cylindrical part on the bottom of the mount that goes into the hole on the top of the mount, on the top of the tripod. So that as you tighten it up, you could still move it back and forth sideways.
Yeah,
So
I've had that problem too. Yeah.
So I put Teflon sheeting in there. I made a Teflon sleeve. I tightened it up.
Okay.
And then the other way, in azimuth, you've got painted surfaces sliding on painted surfaces. Well, that doesn't work really well. I can tighten up the mount. I can tighten up the central bolt and make it tight, but then I can't turn it. So I put a sheet of Teflon in there, just between the two surfaces. So now I can move it in azimuth with the controls, with the azimuth adjustments, and it can still be tightened down so it doesn't want to move around sideways anyway.
I've never used that mount in alt azimuth mode, so I don't really know.
Well, I don't use an alt azimuth, but when you're
when you're talking about when you're lining it up. Okay, I got it.
When you're lining it up, you look through the polariscope. You're trying to get Polaris on the little clock circle where it says it's supposed to be. And you do that using the azimuth and elevation adjustments. And once you get those where you are, you know, I used to lock the mount down. Well, I don't have to lock it down anymore because I already got it locked down. You know, with a central bolt that holds it to the tripod.
Mhm.
Got you. Yeah.
Well, I see a lot of 4¼ inch reflectors for sale by different people. Orion and Celestron and
Oh, you do? Okay.
different others. So it's not that uncommon a scope. It's a good starter scope.
Yeah, you're supposed to be able to see some of these faint comets in that,
Yeah,
but they're really faint when you look at them in a 4¼ inch scope
yeah.
or a 4-inch scope. Yeah.
Speaking about comets, did any of you catch the last comet?
Leonard?
Yeah.
No, I didn't see it myself. I just saw pictures on the internet. My
Which comet
backyard
was
is
this?
Leonard.
Oh, yeah,
My
we saw
my
that last
backyard is
Friday.
torn up, so I don't have any way to set up right now.
Yeah, we saw that. Chuck Schuler and I saw that last Friday.
Okay.
We have a place we go that's about a mile or two north of the Refugio off ramp, and it's called Cala Real. It's just a chunk of Cala Real. It's probably a couple of miles long, and it's got a big berm that separates it from the freeway, so you don't get the lights of the freeway. And we get a pretty good dark sky there.
Is that on the ocean side?
No, it's on the mountainside of 101.
Oh, okay.
Between El Cap and Refugio.
No, it's past Refugio.
The road doesn't continue past Refugio.
Say again?
The road, Cali Real, does not continue past Refugio.
This is a chunk of Cala Real that's perhaps a mile long. It
Yes,
it doesn't go anywhere.
There is a connection there between El Capitan and Refugio.
Right, but this has nothing to do with that. This is north of Refugio, and you're driving along the freeway, and there's nondescript little yellow signs showing an off, you know, a T in the intersection on the freeway, and you turn off there, and you're now on Cala Real. You can Google it, and
Okay.
it doesn't go anywhere. It services about 3 or 4 homes, and that's it. It doesn't. Neither end goes anyplace. It dead ends. But we set up on the side of the road, and very few cars come by, if any. And we have this big berm that separates us from the freeway, so we don't get the lights from the freeway, and we get pretty good skies.
How far is it
Looking for it
beyond?
now.
How far is it beyond Refugio? The turnoff.
About 1.2 miles, I think, something like that.
Oh, yeah.
It's further past Refugio. You keep going toward San Francisco. I guess you're going east or west. I
Oh.
mean,
Doesn't Tom capture the place right here on the map?
I think it's up the upper left.
well, zoom in on it. I can't see the rest of it here.
Zoom.
Your little wheel should do it. What am I looking at here? I don't.
Can you see Kyriel right there? And
Yeah, but that's way too long for Cala Real.
No,
For the
no,
piece
no.
that we're on, keep going to the northwest.
I think you'll see it ends at it says the Barren Ranch Trailhead. You temporarily close the Barren Ranch, and this
No,
is
that looks like too much. The thing we're on is
Oh.
is terminated. It's just a big T.
Well, then you want the other way, back
There's
down
another-
toward Refugio. That I
Wait.
saw.
We go
Bruce.
past Refugio to get to it.
Yeah,
Bruce,
it's past Refugio.
Yeah, you're not talking about the Arroyo Vista Point here. Arroyo
No.
Hondo Vista.
That's the other way. That's the other way.
Go
So,
down.
yeah.
Go the other way. Go south.
Yeah, I think it's this section here, Bruce, right here, and there's three.
No, you're
there's
on the
three
wrong side of the freeway. We're on the north side.
Yeah.
right here.
No.
That could be it. That could be it. Yeah. All right, just
Yeah.
about where your arrow is, right there is where we
Yeah.
set up.
Yeah. There's a
Here's
section right there.
here's Refugio, and here's Barren Trailhead, and that's where this road ends, just right here. So
Yeah.
it's just a mile past Refugio. It's a little turnoff here.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
exactly. It's a nondescript little turnoff.
And you go back toward Refugio on that road.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
We only
that's
go,
it.
we don't have to go very far.
So it's on the road to Villa de Mar.
Is that what it's called? It's when you zoom in on it and you look on Google Maps, it says Cal Real.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is
says
Cali
that.
Real. It says it on this map.
Right.
Yeah,
And
I'm
right
told-
about where you're, just between where you turn off and where you see that road that goes up to the north, about halfway in between that, that's where we set up.
Okay.
you haven't tried to go up one of those roads to see if there's a spot?
They've
Yeah,
got
but
locked gates on them.
Oh,
It looks like this little spot right here is lower than the freeway.
It
Are
is,
you-
and that's why, and
So
you've got
that's
that
what
big
he's-
berm,
Mhm.
so that
You're
it
down in
blocks all the
the,
light from the freeway.
you're down in the shadow from the freeway.
And you don't get very much traffic there, huh?
One or two cars maybe in the whole night.
Wow. Did you set up on the road then, or what? How do you?
Yeah, we set up on the side of the road,
Wow.
on the south side of the road,
South side, on the side, yeah.
or the ocean side, whatever you want to call that.
Looks like there used to be a house there.
I never looked at that. Yeah, it does.
Probably got burnt down.
Sorry. This little patch.
Yeah.
That was a gas station.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's off the
Really good
freeway,
view.
isn't it?
Yeah, it could be an old Coast Route gas station,
Mhm.
one that didn't get preserved.
I think there's some dude ranches around there that people, camp out.
Well, there's
There's
the
some really
circle bar.
expensive homes around there.
Yeah, there's the Circle Bar B up there somewhere.
Well, that's,
that's-
up Refugio Road itself.
Yeah.
Refugio Road.
Mhm.
No, there's one by the 101 because my niece and they stayed there. It was you turned off in a similar area.
I didn't know Refugio Canyon is also called Aquajito Canyon as well.
Guajito.
Never heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to bicycle up that road.
Do the
Well, now you
Reagans
got
still?
flatland to bicycle on, right?
What?
You got flatland to bicycle on.
No,
I
we
don't
used to
think any
go.
of this land is flat.
Well, I thought you were sort of on the alluvial plain that, the stuff is part of the bay.
No, you go up the mountains to where that weird site is.
Yeah, there's the Circle Bar B guest ranch up there.
Yeah, right.
Well, I thought you were talking about where you live up in Rio Vista.
No, I used to bicycle here. When
Okay, yeah,
when I
right.
was
So
working,
did I.
when I was living in the barrio.
I bicycled all over these mountains, everywhere, you name it. And motorcycled all over them earlier than that.
we ride up there quite often, up to Circle Bar B and turn around and come back. Circle Bar B.
Oh, I've ridden all the way to the top. Or the other way is you start off at 154 and you get dropped off there at Kinnaman Road. And then you ride, west up all the way until you hit Refugio Road and come on down.
We start from home and go up.
Well, I'm not that ambitious.
I now have to go watch my knees. I screwed up my knees this year, pressing too hard going up mountains. So
Yeah, I did
Getting
that to
older.
myself and I figured, oh dear, now I'm going to have surgery or something. And if you just let it rest, the body does wonders. It healed. I don't have a problem anymore.
well, the what I've done is I don't press as hard. I can't keep up. I made up my mind. I'm not going to try and keep up with those 55-year-olds. I'm turning 74 this month. So
Just
you're a
use a low,
youngster.
Mike, you just use a lower gear, right?
sometimes that doesn't work.
Oh, you know what? You need to
What I
electrify
should
your
do
bike.
is use a lower body weight. But I'm not.
Well, Mike, you could consider electrifying your bike, huh?
That'd be cheating.
Somebody had come up with a stealth engine, so it doesn't even really, it looks like it's under your own power.
Yeah.
An electrified bike defeats the whole purpose of bicycle, right? Well, not the whole purpose, but the exercise purpose
Well,
of
you
it.
do have the pleasure of changing flats along the way, though.
Well, even on a regular bike, you get to change flats with coat
I
head
know.
thorns.
I'm just saying,
I've pretty much given up on flat changes. I just try and baby it on the way home because I have too many goat heads in the tire by then. So you just
Have
can't.
you guys used the the goop that you
I
put
got-
in the?
Yep. I got
Does it
goop.
work?
Goop works really, really good. What the goop does is if it's gonna work, it'll get you might lose down to about 40 pounds, and then it'll catch at that point, and you can usually do pretty good. It can last for up to 2 years in your tire. So I find myself changing let's say the whole setup maybe every couple of years, including the tire itself, and that usually works out pretty well right
Yeah.
there. Just leave those thorns in. Don't take them out. Leave those things in, and those will act like little plugs. So, but the only problem is if you want to if you ever want to fix your tire in the field, you can just about
Yeah.
forget it.
The one thing that I have to watch out over here, and I just noticed it with the tires I have, is that they resurface it, and then about 3 weeks later, they put a bunch of gravel on there for whatever reason. And that tears up
wow.
the tires like crazy.
Yep.
You have skin tires, or do you have mountain bike tires?
Skinny tires. I have a road bike.
I got a mountain bike.
I have on my bike, I have a double set of rims, and I have the mountain bike tires in one set. The other ones are slicks. They're very hard rubber, and they have a very trivial tread on them, but they don't wear. And
Are
they
you
have a
talking
lot
about-
lower rolling resistance.
Um,
And I run
Are
like
you-
65 PSI in them.
gator
That's-
skins.
Say again?
Are you using gator skins?
No, these are regular 26 by 1 and whatever they are, mountain bike tires.
Oh,
1 at 1 point, almost 2-inch tires. But they're a slick. They're called slicks, and people say, "Hey, your tires are all worn out." I said, "No, they were made that way."
Mm.
And the rubber on them is hard rubber. It's not soft. I mean, they're not an off-road tire. They slip. But on the pavement, when I ride with my friends, I can just ride away from them. I have a lot lower rolling resistance.
I assume my tires are always going to slip anyway. So what the heck?
Well, you get used to it. I mean, I'm a motorcycle rider. I'm used to having the motorcycle
Yeah.
dance around underneath me, stand on the pegs.
Mhm. Okay, Mike, what have you got?
I was going to ask how is your club meetings going, if at all? Besides this meeting, I know you're trying to start things up again.
Oh, we talked about the last business meeting last Saturday night. Covers that. If you want to look that up, you can see us all
Okay.
huddle about it. But we've backed off. We are going to hold off on any public outreach till probably March. We're gonna, if the COVID or the Omicron thing goes down and gets under control, we may start things up in March, but everything till then is put on hold. We are trying to start up our regular first Friday of the month meetings with a first one in February. The first Friday in February at 7:30. It'll be some kind of a Zoom or something else that TomT is going to set up with the museum. And we're going to have it as the first one is going to be a members night. Chuck is going to do 20 minutes. I'm going to do 20 minutes. And who's the third victim? Tom, do you remember?
It was Kim, what's her, no,
Oh, yeah.
Chrissy Cook.
Chrissy Cook, that's right.
The
So
Girl
each going to be
Scouts.
20 minutes of discussion.
So you see the website I'm on right now is the astrobin.com, and the images of the day, it looks like.
I don't like going to that one because it makes me feel sick.
And these were shot with a telescope about the same size as yours. Is that the reason?
No, these are all different types of telescopes and mounts there. You can
Right.
see the.
These are probably shot with a 20-inch scope.
No,
Skywatcher NEQ6.
Yeah, it's rosette, so it's got to be something with a wide enough field of view.
Wide field
Yeah.
of view. Okay.
What is the Skywatcher 250/1000 Quattro C10? What is that?
Have no idea. 250 is 10 inches. Quattro C10, it may be a 10-inch.
F4.
Oh, that is 10 inch, yeah.
Okay, 1000
So-
millimeter focal length. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a Dobsonian, I mean a Newtonian of some sort.
No, I think that might be
Gotta be.
but I don't know. I don't know.
There's
I'm not gonna guess.
there's no spikes on it. There's
Yeah.
no reflection spikes.
Well, there are
There are.
spikes.
Oh, there are? Oh, I can't
Yeah.
even see it. Oh gosh, yes. Boy, they're so small, I can't even see it.
Yeah.
No, in Photoshop, you can take those out too.
Or add them in.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but what do you put behind them?
You just cut and paste just the stuff right around them.
Yeah. Huh.
That's cheating.
Can you read the handwriting down there? It looks like Jacob Heppel.
Yes,
Hoppel? Keppel? Hoppel? Let me see. You probably wrote-
HEPPEL.
Yeah.
Right here, up here, Heppel, HEPPELL, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
A whole bunch of his stuff.
Well,
here.
I wish him lots of rain.
Yeah, there you go. And crappy skies.
Don't know if we have any where he's located at.
It looks like it's out in Kansas or somewhere where it's all flat.
Excuse me, guys, I
Where
gotta
Dorothy-
go and
where
catch
Dorothy lives, huh?
a phone.
See you later, Mike.
Kind of neat the way all these objects get pasted on top here. I'm not sure if that's automatically done or by
He
the
does-
Astro
he would
bin.
do that, I think. When I show those things on mine, it's I add them all.
Yeah, I would think you would have to do that. You'd have to do that all by hand.
Yeah.
Sure,
Annotate
let's see
it.
if I do this next one, Abel 6. Yeah, if you're on top of it, it shows up. I think it's automatically added somehow.
Maybe.
They're identifying where it's
pull.
at.
Yeah.
Well, that's definitely wide field there.
Boy, that's way out there.
Takahashi.
About
If
100.
it's a 4-inch, 4-inch refractor.
Probably looking at 200 millimeters, if somewhere around there, maybe.
Uh-huh.
Focal length.
What are they showing with these circles?
I don't
So-
know. I don't see a notation on.
Maybe it's like a nebula that fits in the circle, or
No, maybe they're trying to do a Venn diagram. I don't know. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, it certainly looked like a Venn diagram. Why don't you zoom in on it? Maybe you can read what they've written on the edge of the circle.
trying to see. The circle
Control
doesn't seem
plus.
to have the circle identification. I can't see. It's just something that must be in the middle of the circle.
It looks like they're LBN 663, for example, one of them.
What's an LBN?
Dark
I have
nebula.
no idea.
The dark nebula.
Is it?
Oh, there's an LDN and an LBN.
I think they're
That's
both.
definitely a B.
Little bold men. Who knows?
The bold man.
Right, I was looking for LGM. That's little green men.
It says it's powered by PixInsight. I wonder, does PixInsight add stuff like that? If you or like
Yeah, you can annotate in PixInsight
Yeah.
now. So that might be, but what the circles mean, I just don't know. I really, yeah.
they're showing original and final. Maybe a histogram. Oh, he's showing all the frames.
What site did you go to get this?
This is astrobin.com. And
Okay.
these are images of the day.
You
I
can
think,
see
but-
the URL up at the top of the screen.
Okay.
And it's just some wonderful, wonderful work these guys are doing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Gorgeous.
Let's see. It's pretty. Supernova remnant. Let's see, where is that supernova located? SH2-224.
They don't give a legend or anything for that one?
Yeah, just SH2-224 supernova remnant.
Looks like a nebula with a carbuncle.
Takahashi 130, 106.
Yeah, 5-inch refractor. And a
Well, hold on now.
1/4-inch refractor.
Can you think he added those two together?
Oh, yeah, well, you can take pictures with different scopes of the same thing and add them together.
And there's 1100 GTO mount.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm getting.
And 218 10-minute shots, huh?
Fixing site too.
Description. Oh, it says interesting supernova located in constellation Origa. Abduli. Oh, Asian hat. 60 hours of work.
Boy.
Just with H alpha 03. Holy smokes.
Lots of-
That's a lot of clear skies.
Yeah.
How do they determine how much gain they use versus how long they take the picture?
It's, the gain, did they show something about gain there? Oh, gain 100
ISO.
minus 10 degrees centigrade.
1 bin. Okay. And how long were those exposures? 10 minutes?
Yeah, 600 seconds. Yeah.
Mhm. So 10 minutes.
And he had an ASI camera. I saw someplace before.
Up here, camera ZWO ASI 6200
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pro.
I was taking pictures of the Orion Nebula M42, and I don't know how much gain I should use on how long time I should use.
That's a toughie, because what you're going to find is that not a single time exposure is going to be able to do everything that you want it to do. The problem is that the center of the nebula is so bright in comparison
Bingo.
to its extremities that
Yeah.
it's going to be really difficult for you to do anything unless you do what is known as high dynamic range compression. And the way that you do that is by taking different exposures of lesser and lesser amount
Right.
until you get what that does. See, then what you do is you take those all layered up, you add all those exposures together, okay, and then you normalize them.
Yeah, I mask them out and then put them together.
Yeah, you can normalize them too. You can re-normalize that guy right there to the between 0 and 1 for intensity. Okay, and the net result of that is to bring down the brightest areas in the image so that you can capture the fainter details as well as the central part of the nebula.
Well, when you normalize it, does that let you go free more or less with both gain and time?
Well,
A normal-
no, you're still going to be constrained to taking different exposures. Now, what I do, I use the same ISO for everything. And I go like, let's say ISO 800, okay? and then I'll go, let's say for my 10-inch, I'll have maybe a 6-minute, 3-minute, 1 minute, and then a 30-second exposure, and I'll layer all those on top of one another. And when you do that, it really does come out. It's probably about the only thing that you can do with that particular object. It's one of those. It's also like, let's say M31, the Galaxy.
Same thing.
Same sort of deal. Is that it's so bright in the middle that you have to layer exposures one on top of one. Boy, look at that.
The picture that Tom has that I took of the Milky Way has exposures that went everywhere from 30 seconds ISO 25600 for the hydrogen stuff on the outside, all the way down to 4 seconds at ISO 3200 for the trapezium. And then I put them together in Photoshop.
Can I bring my picture up? I don't know how. to,
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna stop share, and then you can, as long as you have a window open on your computer with your picture, you can say share and then look for the window and click on that. in
There's
Zoom.
there's a button on the bottom when
Says
you
share
mouse
screen.
around. It says share screen, and click on that, and it'll show you some images that are on your computer, and you can select one of those, and then hit the share button.
All your different windows that you
Yeah,
have
just be
open.
careful you don't have something embarrassing on your computer screen.
Yeah.
These don't look like,
Kind of small, yeah, hard to see which window is correct, but
oh,
It
it says
should-
full charge. Device needs to restart. This looks like my computer commands. This doesn't look like, what do you call Zoom?
well, you see at the bottom of the Zoom screen.
Oh,
you-
wait a minute, wait a minute.
On the Zoom
No,
screen.
Okay, I got reactions. Share screen.
Yeah, that's it. You got it.
Okay. Now, if I hit that,
And then you'll get a selection of images on your computer. Select which one you want to show.
I got it on my USB. I go to files.
Well, you'll have to
Mm.
open it up first on your computer. Then you can share that screen.
Oh. Let me see if I can open it.
It basically shares your desktop.
Yeah, let me see if I can get there from here.
Yeah, open it up, yeah.
Oh.
Find your drive and,
Here we go. Now I got it, but I don't have you guys.
Go
okay, well, go
back to
the Zo-
that. Go back to the screen where we were at,
Or,
and then
Oh,
go
no.
ahead and do your.
Let me see if I. And do I hit share again or what?
Yeah.
Okay, let me move this over so I can find share. I can't find share.
You got to go back to the Zoom screen,
Yeah,
and then at the bottom, just
Well, it
mouse
says
over.
screen.
And you see share. You'll see it
Oh,
says share
let
screen.
me close that then. I think I lost my other thing going.
Yeah,
Well,
leave it open, and then just.
yeah, I
get
tried to
back.
leave. it.
Yeah,
I tried
you
to
can.
leave.
There you go.
Uh,
Something's happening. Oh, that's.
Oh, that's-
Blue's going a black
No,
hole.
I got the share screen, but I lost my image.
Well, there's an image there now, horizon to
That's
horizon.
Bob's.
That ain't
I
me.
put that up.
Yeah,
Oh.
This is what I was talking about. The middle of
Yeah.
that
that's
is,
neat. I like it.
30,
They're not share
30
screen.
seconds at ISO 25600, and the edges are 4 seconds at ISO 3200.
That's neat.
There's 7 photographs here that I pasted together.
Oh, uh-huh.
Those are the lights of Santa Barbara over there on the right, and the lights of Santa Maria on the other way around. Lights of Santa Barbara on the left, and the lights of Santa Maria on the right.
Huh.
This is from Figueroa Mountain.
That's neat.
I was gonna. Where's my picture of the Orion? How do I kill this so somebody else can put something up?
you just stop share, you have to go
Hey,
down.
you stop share.
That didn't work. That got me out of Zoom. Go back.
It's at
into
the
Zoom.
top.
Pardon?
I think it's at the top, isn't it? Where it's the stop share.
Leave. Oh, there we are. Okay.
Well,
No,
that might kill you.
That
You don't
left
wanna-
me out.
You don't want to
of-
leave. Yeah.
I can,
Oh,
I
too
can
late.
stop it. I can stop it. I'll stop it. Okay.
Too late.
So
There
Ed,
you
did
are.
you find your
Okay.
window that you wanted to show?
Let me see. Where is it?
So Ed, you opened your
I'm coming up
photograph.
here.
Okay.
Whoops.
Whoops is not a good sound.
Yeah.
Do you see it or not?
Not
No,
yet.
Should I make it half size or something? I don't know.
no, I mean.
Well, now I can't hit, with my window showing, I can't hit, share.
Well, okay, minimize it a little bit.
Okay.
You could do de-maximize it.
I don't have, well, okay, I can close this. I got it
Is that yours,
now.
Ed?
I should have it.
No, this is another one of mine. This
No,
is
we're
again,
we're trying to get Ed's going on.
Yeah. Only
Ed-
one
Ed-
I'm
Ed
gonna
has-
hit
Ed has-
share. I'm gonna hit share right now.
Ed has the floor.
all right.
There it is. How come it's double? I think I got two pictures there.
What is this a
Do
picture?
you see it?
Looks like
Yeah,
it.
I do see it. Yeah, it looks like that's the trapezium kind of almost in the middle.
Yeah, I just
Uh-huh.
took this last night. I even looked at all of my pictures yet. And I don't know if this was 7 seconds or 13 seconds. I just downloaded it now.
Hmm.
But, when you blow it up, you got this, like you said, this central section that is just overwhelming.
Yeah.
Try and
That's-
enlarge this. Let me see if I
Mhm.
don't lose you. There it
Yeah,
is.
that shows it right there because that trapezium is really bright.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
also shows the wall there of nebulosity.
So
Yeah.
Ed, do a right click on that photo. Do a right click and then say, click on file information. At the bottom there, you click on that.
Yeah.
Okay. 125th of a second. So cool pic. So did you hand hold your camera?
No, this is a regular camera. Oh.
Ours are too
This is
round
a
for him.
picture of a picture. So, the real picture is too big. So this is the picture out of my Nikon camera. But it's a picture of the picture I took last night. So this doesn't help.
And which camera
the-
did you have on your telescope?
2600, ASI 2600. It's MM. Not MM. It's MC color. Yeah.
I think Hank has one of those.
Yeah. This is, you can see, this is DSCN 5368 is right off my camera, my Nikon camera.
Which Nikon? Cool pics, you said?
Yeah. What's it called?
8800 or
Nikon
something.
9, Nikon 9 or 9A or A9. I don't know what you,
Okay, I'm not familiar with that one.
it's real compact. It's real small. It's maybe less than 2 inches thick. And then the lens zooms out. So you've got a zoom lens and everything. The only bad thing is you can't take exposures greater than 1 second with it.
Yeah, it's a camera like this. This is the Canon version of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It might be even small. No, it's about the same size. I was going to say it might even be smaller than that.
Yeah. I use that in my pocket when I travel. Give sharp images.
Yeah. It's kind of heavy for carrying in your pocket. but
So you think you took
Okay.
a 13-second shot with your 2600 camera?
Yes. I took a whole series of gain being high in 7 seconds and gain lowering with 13 seconds. So I haven't downloaded everything to look at what I got yet.
And which telescope are you using on this?
This is my 14-inch telescope where I've modified some of the legs that Jerry gave me on the original. So I don't have my camera hitting the bottom leg like it was demonstrated earlier, although mine's a reflector. the mirror would hit. Okay, so there's no easy solution. Somehow you got to do it in layers.
Yeah, it's not hard to do. It's a little painstaking the first time you do it.
Yeah. I was surprised I got anything. I got a problem with my mount now. It's lost orientation. It's not encoded, but starting January 2nd, it no longer finds the stars that I request. Like I wanted to shoot at, start off with a polar star and then go over to Deneb as one of my calibration stars, and it went over to the moon, completely missed it. And then I put in Gamma Cassiopeia, and it got about halfway back to Cassiopeia, and it stopped. So then I sent it back to the moon. I took some shots to the moon, and then after that, I put it on more or less manual control, and I went over and I aimed it at the M42 here and took these pictures.
Yeah, I've had nights like that.
Ed,
Yeah.
did you check to make sure that your system time was proper? I mean,
Well, I
did
was
it
so far off out of the world. I mean, the neb's way over here and over 15, 20 degrees away. There's the moon.
That wasn't the night that the moon occulted Deneb, was it? No.
No, this was
Joking, just
yeah,
joking.
this was just now. I mean, today's the
Okay.
11th. It was last night. Yeah,
So I
but it
think,
was
Mike,
kinda-
Ed, you have a Celestron CGX, right?
yes, L.
And so it's the
GXL.
Celestron, when you start up the Celestron, the time shows, and I think you check the time, make sure it's correct. So I would think,
Absolutely, absolutely. And I
Well,
even
one
tried
thing-
1 hour difference to get it to go where I wanted it to go, and it wasn't even close. I don't know, just completely malfunctioning now. Before I could set it on Polaris and then put in Deneb and get it within 2 degrees of Deneb very easily, and then pick out a few other stars and, be ready to go.
Well, the next thing I would do is make sure that your latitude and longitude is still the same. Somehow, something with your didn't get
Obviously,
corrupted in the
Yeah.
temporary memory.
I don't know what Celestron does, but I know Orion, they remember things that are kind of out of the user control. And on mine, when I go to get set up and I go to my first star, then I go to my second star, and it's way off. I go in and I reset it to factory settings, so it forgets all the little corrections that it put in, and then I do a 3-star alignment, and bingo, it goes right where I want it to go.
Okay.
according to your request there or statement, yes, of course, one of the first things I checked was, man, I'm way off on my latitude and longitude. But so I re-entered it, Santa Barbara, and still way off. It didn't work, in other words.
focus here.
Well, it's remembering things that it shouldn't.
It's making them up too.
It has an imagination as an add-on.
It's AI, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
AS, automated stupidity.
Mike?
On the on my Nexstar GPS, I went through a couple of years ago where the mount was going through this, and what I found out was that the GPS module in there ran through its magic cookie number. Most of the GPSs have this like 32-bit number that it remembers from day one. It counts the number of seconds from that. And when it goes through that, then the modules no longer can be used for,
Oh, jeez.
yeah. So the original GPS ones, you can't use the GPS anymore. You have to.
I would think they'd correct that by now.
You
I
can't
mean,
download some
Eventually
updates
they
for it?
had, but not, but that was something that they
That's
didn't plan on running out of was seconds from, I guess 1948 or whatever it was, the original date they were counting seconds from. But things like that could happen with a controller, because they only use words so long because they run out of memory, and registers. That can always happen.
Well, it sounds like a time to search the internet and see what other people are saying about the Celestron CGX mounts and with how if they lost, the calibration doesn't seem to work very well for them.
I wrote to the company and they haven't responded yet. They told me that they would respond. That's the only message I got back so far.
Okay.
When I took this, I'll show you one that I took that was done with range compression, and this was done with a 10-inch astrograph on the Orion Nebula. And this is ISO 800 with a Canon 6D, and it's 6 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 minute, and 30 seconds. So it's just basically range compression, so you can bring down this really bright area right here and still get these fainter areas in the picture. And the other thing that the other side effect of doing this is that it makes the stars smaller. Because what happens is that you're layering successively smaller exposures, and like I said, the net result is to bring down the brighter areas. Well, the bright star does the same thing to the stars.
Real nice contrasts on the Running Man Nebula.
Oh yeah, I know. And that's another thing that it does. When you layer them like this, you can get better contrasting than you would with, let's say, just a single exposure setting, when you do your shots.
But Dick, your trapezium was blown out there, right? So
yeah, the trapezium is blown out in that particular shot right there. Well, to get the trapezium, I found that what's necessary is you need to put in, you're going to probably need to be less than 10 seconds. You're going to probably need to be somewhere on the order of 5 seconds at that particular recording speed at ISO 800 on my camera anyway. So that's the problem is that if you want to get everything, you can have problems like that. And the other thing too is you start putting more and more layers of range compression on it, and you're going to get to the point where the whole thing is going to kind of break down upon you. As a matter of fact, the processing behind processing an image like that has range compression in 4 layers like that is very difficult, because you can't just look at a single part of that image and, let's say, try things on that little part and then expect it to be the same thing on the whole image. It doesn't work that way.
Why not? I mean, that seems like a great idea.
I think that what is going on is they're using these things that are called wavelets. So if you take a wavelet and you're passing it over the entire image, that's different than taking a little piece of that image and doing the same thing. That's the only thing that I can think of as a reason why.
When you do stacking, aren't you doing that though?
Well, the stacking is the pre-processing part. I'm talking about the processing part where you're trying to enhance contrast and stuff like that. That's where you start to get into trouble with having too many layers, I found. And it starts to just get really weird artifacting.
Wavelets lets you separate out different spatial frequencies to enhance separately. So very small objects you can change the contrast on without touching the big stuff.
Yeah,
use that on planets to good effect.
Yeah,
The smallest details.
Yeah,
I shared a picture of the of the Orion Nebula. This is a collaboration between Bob Richards and myself. He took a picture with the C11 in the F2 configuration of the M42 and the Running Man, but the middle of his was completely blown out. It was a big white blob. So I took the middle of mine, the one that I previously showed you, rotated and scaled it so it fit, and pasted it in with a really fuzzy edge.
Yeah,
And this was the
Oh.
result. And he liked this so much, he had it printed up in metal. It
yeah,
hangs in his
Uh-huh.
house.
Uh-huh.
very nice.
Mhm.
But you can see, if you zoom in on that, you can see the trapezium very nicely.
Mhm.
Yes,
Oh, quit it. Here we go.
Now, you
Where-
said he did it at F2 so that he used a hyperstar?
That's right.
yeah, F2, yeah.
Okay, and was that a full frame of 35
He used a
millimeter?
Canon. I don't know what Canon T2i, I think, was his camera.
Okay, so that's an APS-C, so.
Yeah, right. And mine was I took mine with an Nikon D5200. But it blended nicely. I used a really fuzzy edge. I turned the hardness way, way down on the whatever they call it, the come on.
Unsharp mask.
No, not unsharp matte. The,
Oh,
the
it's not
thing,
an unsharp mask? Okay.
no, oh, come on, what do they call it? It allows you to take a piece of the picture and paste it into another one.
Crop, vignette,
No. I'll have to go over there and look at it.
Can you see this?
Rubber
one?
stamp.
That's
Called
pretty.
rubber stamp.
rubber stamp, okay.
Yeah, I do see that though. That's really nice, Ed.
This is by Paul Wynn,
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Very nice.
2010. Is when he
Yeah.
took the picture.
Aha. Yeah, you can see what he did to the trapezium there. See, he kind of blew through that whole white area like I've got on mine and just eliminated it. See?
Oh, he basically photoshopped it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, well, it's been fun for me tonight, but I want
Yeah.
to sign out. It's 9 o'clock.
Me
I'll
Sounds
too.
see
good.
you guys next week.
Bye,
I
everybody.
probably won't see you guys next week because I'll be in Southern California.
Okay,
Drop on by.
Yeah.
wear a
Come
mask,
in.
stay
Come
healthy.
in.
It's all over down here.
Yeah,
Oh,
N95.
I've seen the news where they have plenty of police cars, fire trucks, and ambulances. They just don't have anybody to drive
That's
them.
asked for. I know 6
Well, they don't-
people that have got
they don't have
COVID right
anybody-
now.
They don't even to fly airplanes either.
Yeah,
Oh.
It's going around.
Yeah.
Okay,
All
bye,
right.
later.
Good night, everyone.
Bye. Good night.